Happy Friday, everyone. Thought I'd start off with a few tunes. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Happy Friday. Come on in. Can't go wrong with starting the day off with a little Michael Bublé. Welcome, my friends. Thanks so much for being here. I thought I'd hop in live on a Friday morning because, hey, what else is there to do on a Friday morning? So I thought we would share a little bit of insights with you and really give you some good value today. So tune in, buckle up, and let's get started. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Crystal DeCuna, and I'm the Chief Experience Officer at The Inside View. We work with business owners and leaders across the globe now through the beauty of social media and Zoom and all these fantastic platforms, and we're able to really help leadership teams come together. You know, when they come together, they're more powerful. They're able to really inspire their team, and we really focus on igniting leaders so they can excite their employees and ultimately work together to delight their customers. All right, so we are live on a couple different platforms today. Super excited. We're live on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Go ahead and tell us in the comments if you are watching this today live or on the replay. So go ahead and write CX Live, hashtag CX Live, or hashtag CX Replay in the comments and let us know that you're here and how you're watching. So super excited to take you through this content. So let's start with the topic of the day. And so the topic is really focused on customer reviews. This is something that we work with organizations across the globe, and we're always focused on kind of, you know, that review. We know that with the way things have gone over the last couple of years, it's almost 2 years now since this pandemic. We know that these reviews are taking, you know, top spot. When you're going to purchase something, when you're going to go to a restaurant, when you're going to go on vacation, one of the first things we do is look at those reviews, right? Go ahead and tell me in the chat if you agree, right? Those reviews are a big part of our decision-making process. And so in particular for small, medium businesses, and you're who I'm talking to today, because, hey, large businesses, you guys know how to do it. You do it right. You focus on, you know, those reviews are very, they're focused on the numbers, the metrics. There's a lot of digital aspects that are affecting your metrics as well. But when I'm talking to small, medium businesses, I really want to just dive in today about the root causes of your reviews. So whether it's the 5-star reviews that you're looking for, or if you're just looking for engagement and to get this review started, this review process started. Hey, my friends, thank you so much for coming in. Hey, Scott, nice to see you. Ishween, Laura, we've got a couple other people from LinkedIn. Good morning, everyone. So nice to see people. I really didn't know what to expect this Friday morning. So I'm glad we've got a couple people watching. Go ahead and tell me also in the comments where you're from, because I know we've got an audience, a global audience. So would love to know where in the world you're from. Go ahead and let us know in the comments. And we will be taking some questions. And also I would love to know your best practices when it comes to creating that 5-star review and to really getting the review process going for your business. So we're going to have some really good discussion as we go through this session today. So think about it, write it down, put it in the comments, and let's start talking about it. Hey, Scott, so nice to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Can't wait to hear your comments on reviews. Scott's our Disney expert, and so we love hearing from Scott. All right, so let's dive in. We know that we look at those review processes, those reviews and those comments, you know, when we're making those decisions, right? And so I want to get to the root cause of that. So when we're looking at our small, medium businesses and we're looking at how do we continue to make sure that those reviews are top of mind for our customers, hey, we got to make it easy for our customers to give us those reviews. We know that, right? We want to be able to make sure that we're asking and we're asking at the right time. But I want to take you through 6 particular areas that I think we can focus on a little bit more, that we've had an opportunity to focus on with businesses, and they've seen some great results. And it'll really help you kind of dive into how you can, we're just seeing this here. Awesome. Joining from Toronto, thank you so much, my LinkedIn friends. So talking a little bit about the root of it. So number one, I'd like to focus on hiring the right people. Hey, we know that when we've got the right people on our team, they're going to be able to service our customer the way that our customers deserve, right? People are spending hard-earned money. They're choosing you. They're taking the time to spend time with you, to come to your business. And so we need to be able to really take the time to hire the right people. Now, people say, well, Crystal, of course, if we've hired them, they're the right fit. Well, we know that there's hiring challenges out there right now. You all know. Go ahead and tell me in the chat if you're having challenges right now finding, that top talent. That is something that I think it's a bit of a global crisis right now, finding top talent that can really, satisfy our customers' needs. But the other part of it is, we want to be able to hire properly. If we're hiring the same way we've been hiring for the last 20, 30 years, my friends, we're going to get that same level of commitment from our people than we've had over the last 20, 30 years. And now, and it could go even way back further than that. But I think it's really important that we have to take a look at our hiring practices. And although we've gotten a little bit creative, we're going on different platforms now. Maybe we're getting on social media. That's kind of exciting. But, really focusing on how do we attract the right people? How do we hire them? How do we onboard them? How do we train them? And then how do we retain them? So I would really encourage you to take a look at that step process in your hiring process. It's not so much just to find somebody and hire them. It's really about attracting the right person in the first place. Is your job description unique and stand out? Hey, we're looking for people that are unique and that stand out and that are top talent. Well, top talent is looking for a company that stands out, right? So we want to really be able to take a moment and connect with our ideal customer, just like we would attract to your external customer. We want to be able to attract our ideal team member and our ideal employee. So take a look at your job descriptions. Do they sound like everybody else's job description, or are they a little bit unique? We had once done a job post for a client that we incorporated a video into our job post, and we requested a video back. So it was a really neat live interaction. And what was cool about it was we didn't get a heck of a lot of resumes. We got about 20, maybe 30 videos. And that was perfect because out of those 20, 30 videos, we were really easily able to narrow it down, as opposed to when you put a typical job description out. And you know what I'm talking about. If you've ever done this, go ahead and tell me in the comments. I know many of my friends and colleagues have experienced this. You put a job posting out and you get about, hundreds and hundreds of resumes of people just clicking to apply for jobs. And that's not the type of hiring process we want to go through in 2021. Now we want to get people that are really aligned with our culture and our expectations and our customer commitment, and that customer centricity that most small medium businesses really want to focus on right now. And so that's what we want to attract. And your job description should be exciting. Take a look at it with a different lens, or perhaps even get a colleague in business to take a look at it and say, hey, does this sound attractive? Does this sound like a position that you'd be wanting to do? And even if they're an entry level position, my friends. So, it doesn't have to be that leadership management role or that, 6-figure job position. It can be any position, but is it attracting your person the right way? It's just kind of like a dating relationship, right? All right, let's take a minute and go through these comments here. I'm actually going to hop on my phone here and see what it's like on LinkedIn. So pardon me, I'm learning how to do this live all at the same time. So thanks for being patient with me, my friends. Let's see. I'd love to see some of your questions as we're going through this. All right. So I see you. Woo! Oh, wait, hold on. How do I stop that? One moment, please. One moment, please, while I figure this out. Okay. All right, so we've got Deepta, we've got Neil. Hey, Neil, nice to see you, my friend. Ishween, Laura. All right, so I'll keep this open so I can kind of see who's on there and who's watching. There we go. Perfect. So go ahead and tell me in the comments if you are watching this live or replay by typing in CX Live or CX Replay. All right. And also, I would love to get on top of this LinkedIn and Facebook algorithm. Go ahead and give us a little emoji if that first tip was of good value to you, and we'll keep going in. So next one, I want to talk a little bit about your culture. So your company culture, and you've heard me say this before, it's either happening right now by default or by design, right? And so we want to try to get those reviews and those fantastic, whether it's an employee review or whether it's a customer review. Those reviews are really because of the experience that people have with your product, your service, your people, your brand, your entire organization, right? And so that experience needs to be designed, and it can't be just happening by default. And so organizations that have been in business for, double digit years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, often a lot of those things that are happening within your culture are happening by default because that's the way it was done years ago. And that perhaps is just the way it's going to be done now. And so I'd encourage you to let's take a look at designing it so that it's really delightful for both your employees and your customers, right? We're looking for reviews on both parts. We're not just looking for the Google reviews, but we're looking for Glassdoor reviews. We're looking for reviews from our team members to make sure that they're feeling ignited, excited, and delighted. That's what's going to be infectious to creating that 5-star review for your customer to give you consistently and to really experience all the time. All right. So let's talk a little bit more about culture. When we're creating these job descriptions that are going to attract the right people, we want to also make sure that that company culture is embedded in that job description. So, ask your team, hey, what are 2 or 3 things you really love about our culture? Those are elements of that will be able to connect with your ideal candidate through your job description, right? So those elements that are their top 2, 3 things that they love working for the company about, those are the kind of things that we want to put in that job description. And you want it to sound emotionally intelligent. You want it to sound so that it really connects with that audience member. So take it exactly from what they say. Maybe put it in quotes and put the quote right in the job description. But that's what's going to really connect somebody to it, right? One of our clients that we worked for, we put a fantastic video together for them. And the video really helped so that somebody understand what type of culture they're walking into. Of course, videos are finessed. We want them to be casual, though. We love, cell phone videos of your staff saying, what they love about working there. Keep it comfortable, keep it casual. Somebody once told me it's better done than perfect, right? So that's kind of what we're doing here on this live today. It might not be perfect. We just thought we'd try it out. But hey, it's done and we're live and we're coming to you. And so that's the kind of thing you want to do, right? Create maybe some video content from your team members. Get your team. They want top talent on their team because when they have top talent, their job is easier. And ultimately, you're providing a better customer experience. And that's what's going to get those 5-star reviews. So number 2, craft your culture. All right, let's dive into number 3. So recently I've had a couple of dining experiences. I think it's because I'm, here we go. I'm looking at LinkedIn again. Hi, my friends. Thanks so much for watching. We've got some people with this. I love it. I love it. I love it. I wasn't sure who was going to be on. So thank you for staying in tune with us. All right. Number 3, train your team. And so recently I've had, hey, we've been closed down for about a year and a half. And so when these restaurants opened, I was like, okay, I got to get to a restaurant. And so I've been dining out a little bit more recently than I might normally have. And so what I'm noticing, though, is the inconsistencies in my expectations of service delivery at a restaurant, and then perhaps me, dining and what actually happens. And some are phenomenal. I had a great dinner last night at a restaurant. I'll name it because it was so great and I just loved it. I had called the Keg in St. Catharines, and I called and I asked for a reservation. The lady on the phone was so delightful. So shout out to you, the Keg in St. Catharines, because she answered the phone with joy. She answered the phone and she was pleasant. I said, "You think we can get in, around 7:30?" She's like, how about I can do even one better? How's 7:15?" And even though that was a little bit trickier for me, just the way she worded it, was fantastic. And so we went at 7:15, and she didn't actually have a dining room table. She had a bar table. And she said, she goes, how would you be comfortable in the bar area? She goes, I set up a beautiful table for you. And I said, yeah, that'd be fantastic. So do you see how she spinned it from being something that was probably challenging for her because she didn't have any tables in the dining room, and she didn't have it at 7:30 when I wanted it. But whether she was trained or whether she just had that intuitive knowledge, she was really, her language was so lovely that it was very comfortable for me. We got there, we arrived. I don't know if it was her that greeted us, but somebody greeted us with a smile, took us down the hall, sat us down, asked us if we had been at that restaurant before, and just made it a really, really enjoyable experience as we were sitting down. Ordered our meal was fantastic. We ended up spending 3 hours there, maybe even longer than our 90-minute kind of threshold that everybody has right now. And it was because the experience was great. They maintained the table. They were consistent in every 2 or 3 people had visited us, and everybody was consistent in that. And so all of those little elements really created to us having a really great experience. And so going back to my point on training them to set the bar for really great service, often, especially if you've ever worked in retail or hospitality or hey, any industry nowadays, nowadays it's a lot of SaaS companies or online businesses, you get 2 days of training and that's it, right? And so what I'd encourage you to do, small, medium business owners, is take the time to train your team on your service standards, right? Not just training them on what they need to do in the operations, but on your service standards. How can they look for ways to make your customers' experience even better? How can they look for those unexpected things that will make your customers' experience even better? What can they do to, outside of the box? If money or time was no object, what would they do to create a really delightful experience? And sometimes, of course, we might have to pare it back because I say money or time is no object, but often when I say that, you come up with these unique ways that don't cost a penny. So challenge your team to be able to do that. Also, you want to be, as a leader, you want to create those experiences for your employees, because when you're able to create those experiences for your employees, then they're inspired to do the same for their customer, right? And so that's what you really want to be able to focus on, training them to look for those opportunities to be able to set the service standards higher than ever before. The other thing is, when it comes to training your team, have a plan for when things go wrong. Often we hear from businesses and actually customers, there's numerous surveys out there that say, when things go wrong, what do I do? When things go wrong, customers are willing to stay with you. Customers are willing to stay with your product, your service, and your brand when things go wrong. The challenge is if you don't know how to handle it. If it's taking too long to solve the challenge, if it's creating too much frustration to solve the challenge, if you're not communicating with them to solve it, that's when you lose your customer, and you lose them for life often. Right? So you really want to have a plan for when things go wrong. What's that process look like? How do we make it better? Because the worst thing is something goes wrong. We might discount it. We might, give it to them for free or comp them, or, take whatever type of discounts that happen. I know we have a lot of construction companies that we work with, and that happens often, right? Things go wrong. They have to make an adjustment. They have to give a credit, that type of thing. But that customer leaves and is still not happy. So not only have you given them a credit, but they're not a raving fan either, right? And so you really want to be able to take a look at what is the plan when things go wrong. Take a look at all the things that have maybe gone wrong with customer experiences over the last 12 months, per se, especially during a COVID world, and take a look at all the All right, let's keep going here, my friends. I don't know where I got cut off, but from what I hear, my mic was cut off for just a minute. How we doing there, Laura? Was it a long time? That it was cut off? No, just a second. Okay, perfect. Thanks, my backstage person. I love it. Okay, so we talked about training your team. Hope that was a good tip. Let me know in the comments, in the chat, your best practices. Maybe you've got some fantastic best practices that you'd love to share with our audience. But also, if there's a team out there, if there's an experience that you've had before with a company or just a business out there that you've had a really great experience because their team was trained, go ahead and tell us in the chat. We would love to hear it. And hey, perhaps we'll reach out to that business and get them to come in on a live one day and share with us what they've done to really create that great experience. So go ahead and give us your feedback in the comments. All right, number 3. And I think I kind of touched on number 3 already because that's what happens. Look for opportunities to make the best experiences even better. And so the Ritz-Carlton is a great example. I remember watching a video with the Ritz-Carlton's staff, and they said, I go into somebody's room to clean it, and I look for ways that I can make their visit more memorable. I look for ways that I can make their experience more exceptional. And those little moments really make the difference, right? And so what I would challenge you to do is make this a fun game with your team. Perhaps create a couple of customer profiles and say, this is what, the situation is, or this is a customer profile. What are some of the things that you might do to make this experience even better? But role play these things. These are great ways to role play and challenge your team. Maybe start off your meetings with a 15-minute discussion on, hey, here's a customer profile. What could we do to make this best experience even better? And these are great ways to keep this ideation process flowing. I always say, if you went to a dentist and you brushed your teeth once a year, it would be a pretty bad visit, right? If you brushed your teeth only one time a year and you went to the dentist, it would be not so great of a visit. We have to brush our teeth every day and do all that extra stuff to make sure that we go and we have a great visit at the dentist. Well, the same goes for training and developing your team. And when it comes to inspiring people to make the best experiences even better, inspiring your team to look for those opportunities, we got to keep those ideations top of mind. So this is something you want to be able to role play and practice and converse with your team regularly, not just once a year in a training session or once a quarter at a review. You want to be able to keep this consistent, inspiring them consistently, giving them challenges consistently. So when they're in that situation with their customer, when they're looking for those opportunities, right? They're looking for those opportunities to make the best experiences even better. I've got somebody here on LinkedIn that says, Crystal, when I worked in banking, I found that simply listening to customers, happy or not, finding time for them made a huge difference. Thank you so much. What a great comment. I don't know who that is from. There we go. Thank you. Great, great comment, because it is so true, right? People want to know that they're valued and that their comments are being listened to and heard and respected. So really, really important to make sure that that you're being authentic and you're being transparent with people. Okay, perfect. So let's keep going here. How are we doing for time? We're down to 8 minutes. Oh my gosh, this is like short. I usually talk for 8 hours, so I'm trying to keep it short. Let's talk about challenging your team to challenge each other. This was a fun one we tried with one of the organizations we worked with, because they were having great success with their customer reviews. The 5-star reviews were coming in, right, left, and center. And so we thought, okay, we want to keep this momentum going. How do we continue to challenge our team? And so we did it. We challenged everybody to be able to make special memories. And, we gave them a little bit of a budget. We gave, I think it was I want to say it was like $50 a month to create internal experiences, and $50 a month to create external experience. It was a smaller organization. I think we were made up of about 50 people, just under 50 people. And it was cool because, again, to my point, is that we're not just getting 5-star reviews for our customers, but we want to get those 5-star reviews from our employees, from our team. And so they had a little budget where they could make a really cool experience for their team members. Now, if they didn't use that $50 that month, they saved it and maybe used $100 the next month, or $200, or so on. But the goal was for them to be able to use that little bit of change and make an experience for their team. And you can just imagine the fun that would be, right? When you're challenging each other to be able to kind of one-up each other and create an experience. Now, a lot of the things that came out of it was that they didn't use the money. They just got creative. They just did special things. They used people's names and customized things and paid attention to their children's names and incorporate that in conversations or in posts. They did some social media shout outs, which didn't require any money. They were just, posts that we could do. And so really, challenge them to look for opportunities to create great internal experiences, those 5-star reviews inside your company, because that's what creates that energy and that excitement that your entire team will be inspired by to create those 5-star reviews for your customers. But they have to practice internally. One of the things that we do at our team is we practice internal communication the same way we would communicate with our customers, we communicate with each other. So for example, if we're sending a text or if we're sending an email to each other, we really practice the same way we would speak to a customer, we're going to speak to each other with that same level of value and respect and transparency and authenticity. That's what we want to be able to make sure that it's part of our language internally. Of course, you're going to have internal conversations that might be a little more casual, a little more comfortable because you know each other. But that same level of professional courtesy really makes a difference when you're practicing internally as well as practicing it externally. See some comments coming in here. Perfect. Okay, next, how we doing for time? Almost done. One more. Make it easy for customers to talk about you. And this one I learned with an organization that we worked with was because, they did so many great things for their customers, and they were with their customers for a long period of time from the construction industry. They were with their customers sometimes for 24 months from, the decision-making process to the buying process to, getting the keys to your home, that type of thing. So it was a long process. And what we wanted to do was say, okay, when do we ask for that review? When do we ask for their feedback? But also, there's so many things that went right and perhaps some things that went wrong in that experience. And so how do we make it easy for that customer to be able to, give us their thought process, give us their ideas? And so we want to be able to make it easy for customers to talk about you and give them those things. Hey, at this moment, for example, when you got your keys to your brand new home, what was the best part of that experience? Right. And so if you're asking those type of questions, and perhaps what was the most challenging, and that'll give you some great insight and allow companies to be vulnerable and accept that insight. That'll really help you create better experiences going forward. But ask them, during the process at a key touch point, you want to be able to say, hey, what was the best part about this particular touch point or this particular experience? And when you get that feedback, that's the kind of feedback that they're going to use to review you, because those are the moments that they're going to remember when you ask for that review. So just keep that in mind, that you want to be able to make sure that it's easy for that customer to give you their feedback and to be able to stay connected with you. All right, my friends, I think that's it. No, that's it. So I went through my list. I hope that helps. The road to 5-star reviews is not an overnight fix. We want to make sure that you're focusing on your internal team, cultivating a culture of success. That is directly going to impact your external team. That energy and enthusiasm and connection that your internal team builds with your customers, that's what's going to stay and that's what's going to last. And so I encourage you to get out there and really pay attention to those reviews, because that when you're making buying decisions with organizations, that's what you're paying attention to. You're paying attention to those reviews. You're looking at them, you're analyzing them, you're making sure that particular product or service is what's best for you. And so when you're doing that, you really want to make sure that you make it easy for people. All right, my friends, before we sign off, go ahead and tell me in the comments if you are watching this live or on replay. So type CX live or CX replay. Feel free to give us a little thumbs up or a love or a celebrate, whatever emoji you can. It really helps us with the algorithm on LinkedIn and on all the social media platforms, because we want to continue to bring you really great content. And we're focused. We're focused on making sure that once a week we come live and we share some good content and tips with you that you can implement within your organization. So thanks for being with us today. I would love your feedback, and I will go through all the comments and make sure that I share some more feedback with you as we're going through it. Hey, Nadine, thanks for being here, my friend. So yeah, go ahead and tell us in the comments if you've got questions, and hey, if you've got best practices or organizations that have done really well at cultivating this 5-star review culture, then please go ahead and put it in the comments and chat, and maybe we can help inspire others to do the same. All right, my friends, that's it for me. Go and engineer experiences with your businesses and your customers. And remember, your internal customer is your first customer. Your team is your first customer, and they will, by default, make sure that they are servicing your customers. So have a great Friday, everyone. Hope to keep in touch, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.